Hey everybody, it's Malika back at you again from Love Your Damn Self podcast. And it's quite late at night, which is probably why you hear me sounding like this. I'm in between like talking and a whisper because I don't want to wake everybody else up in the house, yet I had some thoughts that I wanted to share. Now, first of all, I just want to mention that this podcast, if you are listening for the first time, is all about self-love. It's about healing, and it's about real talk. And the way that I do that is by expressing myself through just being transparent and sharing my real life stories. We talk about real shit over here. So if you don't want to hear real shit, then this is probably not the podcast for you. Secondly, I want to mention that the sound you hear behind me is like some soundscapes. I put them on at night and, I just listen to different ones and then I give it a black screen. I'm very much into sound therapy and energy. And this one that I'm listening to is called, I think it's Spring Rain. All right, so now we got that out the way in case you hear it. Now this is going to be like a part 2 to my podcast prior to this one, which was called Mama, I Just Want You to Know. However, this one is called Dammit, I'm Triggered, or Mama, Damn It, I'm Triggered, or I'm Triggered, Mama, Damn It. I don't know, somewhere in between one of those lines. I had this thought today. I had made a little run. Y'all know, if y'all are listening, we are in coronavirus time, and I made a run out to get some what started out as essentials down to the local Target. You know what I'm saying? Down to my local Target, and I made a run for some essentials that turned out to be more than essentials, just a few things that I needed and that I wanted. And when I was on the car ride on the way home, I started to have some thoughts about Mother's Day. Now, I believe the reason why I was triggered is it was because Mother's Day, and I wanted to do something really, really nice for both of my girls who are expecting for their first Mother's Day. And so I accomplished some of that. And then the rest of that, I just had on my mind all day. And I started to think about how there were just really things that I missed out in my life. You all know, if you listen to any part of what I've been talking about, at least the last 15 years, that I definitely suffer from mother issues, and I've gone through a long journey with that and getting healed from that. And if you listen to my last podcast prior to this one, I explained a little bit about the strained relationship and how it all got started with me and my mom. So I wanted to say that there were some things that I really, did miss or that I don't remember. Now, it could be that I don't remember them, because I do suffer from a little bit of memory loss sometimes with these illnesses that I'm dealing with. And it could be B, because, and this happens a lot, it's probably B, is because when you suffer so much trauma, you go through so many or so much amounts, I don't know how to say it, of trauma, so much trauma, that you just begin to suppress things so deeply that it really leaves you and you forget. And that has happened quite a bit, in my journey. And it accounts for most of the things that I can't remember. It's just the severe trauma, PTSD, and other things like that. So it could be that. And C, it could be just because I'm not remembering it because it never happened. So I just begin to think of some of the things that I was missing, and especially around the time that, I gave birth. And then that began to trigger me deeply into things that I was missing. Like, I just began to have thoughts like, I could have really gone so much further in my life if I had the proper nurturing, or gone so much further in my life if I had someone to believe in me, or going so much further in my life if I had someone to, coach me and tell me, what I could be, share that with me. But, my truth and my experiences, I didn't really receive that. I didn't receive that until much older in my life, when other women began to come into my life and do that and mentor me and mother me and coach me and give me those pieces that I was missing. And although I'm very grateful to those women, I want to shout them out. Now, too, I want to shout out my mom, Cheryl. I call her Mom. And then I call my other mom, Audrey. My Audrey, they really been there for me and just really been moms to me. You know what I mean? Throughout probably like the worst times in my life, walking me through a lot and dealing with the aftermath of all the trauma and the drama and the hurt and the brokenness that I had succumbed to, as a woman. But most of those things I experienced early on, like early childhood traumas that kind of had a trickle down effect. That's neither here nor there. The bottom line is I begin to get very triggered, like, damn, there is really shit that I missed in my life that I wish I had, that was so important to my development. And I just wonder how much, just a logical question, like how much further I would be in life, or who I would be in life, or how much different I would be in life if I had those things. And it's just so ironic that I call my bio mom, my biological mom, this morning, and she didn't answer. I just kind of called her to see, how she was doing, if she got some of the pictures of the latest developments of her great grandchildren that I had sent her, the sonograms, and I sent her the video of the gender reveal, just certain stuff like that. And she didn't get back to me. Then I had this experience later in the day where I was triggered. I should have known. And then later on, my bio mom called me. I actually picked up the phone. And then I began to get triggered all over again. Now, although my intent, is to always love and honor and respect my mom, I cannot lie and say that, when I talk to her, I still don't feel something sometimes, in my heart. Now, I don't feel the distance, between us. I used to just feel a real heavy distance and just a weight and just kind of a coldness and a resentment that I had. I'm sure it was coming from me. But it's like, I always say, and my autobiography is called I'm Here. And I tell that story about how I always felt invisible. So my goal is to kind of let the world know, that I'm here. And so still sometimes whenever I talk to mommy, my bio mom, I revert back sometimes subconsciously to that little girl. Like, for instance, I want her to tell me she loves me. I want her to tell me she's proud of me. I want her to tell me, she sees me and I'm doing a good job and I'm a good mother, or, whatever it may be, just some loving, nurturing thoughts. But no matter how much we don't speak, and I gotta laugh at it because it's funny. It's just my mom, if you know her, or how long, like I said, we don't talk, or whatever's between us, she always tends to never focus on me for more than like a minute. And then she'll immediately go to my second sister underneath me, who we all know is her favorite, and it's okay. But she always talks about her. And then when she's done talking about her, she'll go to my younger sister, the baby sister, who's right under her, but it'll never go back to me. And I just kind of like give a lot of love and reassurance and just kind of throw the ball back in her court. Hey, Ma, it's about you. It's about you. It's about you. And, then I usually hang up pissed off, angry for the next 3 days, crying my eyes out for the next 2.5 hours. But today, I kind of handled it a different way. Now, I'm not going to talk about the different way on this video because I'm sorry, this ain't even a video. On this audio. All right, it's late, y'all. It is, let me see, 12:53, I think. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that on this podcast because I don't have enough power and because I don't have enough time. That's going to be another day, probably, when I talk about emotional soul ties and coping strategies. I'm definitely going to do that. But this is all about, self-love. Not only the self-love that you have to learn to have for yourself, you have to have that in order to love your damn self, but it's about healing as well. So I like to share my journey along the way of even the painful parts. I think the most painful parts are the most important parts because those are the parts that allow us to heal ourselves. And I'm not going to lie, every time I talk to my bio mom, I have to open my heart up again and again and again and again and again because it is very painful. But I never stop opening up my heart. And so I want that to be a message to some of you who may be hurting, who may be triggered. Mother's Day is the big trigger. Who may have thought, I ain't got nothing to celebrate, or I ain't got nobody. Why should I love that woman? She didn't do me right. Why should I honor her? Or if you have any feelings like that and you haven't worked through your process yet, I just want to encourage you along the journey to keep talking about it, keep sharing about it, keep feeling the feelings and going through the process. I believe that no one should take that away from anyone else. I can't tell you, sis, don't be mad, don't be sad, don't feel like that, because that's not right. Everybody has to go through their own process of healing. What I want you to do is be encouraged on your journey in that process of healing, no matter where you are. And just to know sometimes that there are other people. See, I didn't put the do not disturb. There are other people who are going through what you are going through can sometimes just help ease the sting a little bit. And so that's what I wanted to say on my part 2. And then I'm going to leave this alone. I'm moving on, okay? I sent my mom something. I felt really good about that, especially after what happened. Not that I want no thanks, but it's really something that she wanted. And if you're listening, Mom, I hope you enjoy it. I love you, Mother. I honor you, Ma. I adore you, Mommy. No matter what we have been through, I love you with all my heart. And I wish you nothing but peace and blessings all the days of your life. I am honored to have chose you, and I'm thankful that you portaled me here to get me here. And that's something else too, for all you ladies, even some gents that might be listening. If you can't think of anything to give thanks for or to be grateful for your mom on this Mother's Day, just be grateful. I don't care if she gave you away. I don't care if she smoked cracks. I care, but I have empathy and I have sympathy for you. But what I'm saying is, you could find a way to honor her by just being grateful that she portaled you here. I don't believe that there are any accidents in life, any coincidences. And I hope that what didn't kill you has only made you stronger. I send you love, and I send you peace, and I send you healing. Continue to love your damn self. And as we work through some of this stuff, we won't be looking for love and affirmation. Maybe that we'll never get. And sometimes we have to come to the acceptance of that. Sometimes we have to come to the end of the road that, hey, sis, it may not never happen. You may not ever get that hug you were longing for, those words of encouragement you were looking for. You may not get none of that. And you have to come to the acceptance of that and find a will and a way to keep moving on, throughout the journey, because the journey, healing, right? It is not a destination. It is a journey. And we must all drink from our own cup. And we must all, bear our own whatever you wearing, a cross, a unk, you know what I mean, a Star of David, whatever you believe in, your faith, however you see that. But we must all participate on that on our own. There's only so far I can take you in the journey. Only so many things I could tell you to motivate you, encourage you, support you. But you have to do this alone. So I just want to be a support and an encouragement. If any of you need me, I'm always here. I'm always available. I'm going to start adding the messaging to these podcasts so you can leave me a message. But you can always hit me up on DM. Okay, so be very blessed, you guys. And try to have a good Mother's Day anyway. I want to wish you all a Mother's Day. If you're old mamas, new mamas, I just want to extend that to you today because it's Thursday and I'm probably not going to talk to you on Sunday, the actual day. May 10th. May 10th is also, my words are getting twisted, y'all. May 10th is also World Lupus Day. And as you know, I'm a global lupus advocate. I was diagnosed with it in 2012, actually cured myself of it, and been free from it for many, many years. And just ironically, so we speaking on today, is trying to resurface. So I'm on top of that, and I'm taking care of that, and I'm trying to stay as well as possible. But even in the midst of what I'm going through, I have not forgotten you. You are loved. I also want to remind you guys, you can listen to these podcasts on anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Some of y'all have Spotify, you can listen on there. Some of you have Apple Podcasts, you can listen on there. Although something's going on, I have to fix it. It's glitchy over on Apple Podcasts. But there's so many more. I don't even know all of the Google and Stitcher and all these other ones that I'm on. So if you're not sure, you can just ask me and I can let you know. Otherwise, you could always listen on YouTube. I upload to my YouTube as soon as I'm done. Like, as soon as I'm done podcasting, I usually upload it to my YouTube and always on my Facebook, my personal Facebook page at Malika L. Anderson. All right, I'm really going this time. 17 minutes, 31 seconds. Peace. I'm out. It's Malika from Love Your Damn Self podcast. Uh-oh, it came back. Sorry.